I also need to address one other matter. All these Obama-JFK comparisons flying around. Now, I know that Jack Kennedy's family recently announced their support for Mr. Obama's candidacy, if you consider that screw-up Ted family. And that's okay. That's okay. But that little dingbat Caroline actually wrote in the New York Times that Obama reminds her of her father. Give me a break. Investors Business Daily sure didn't buy it. Last week, their editorial page was quick to point out the contrasts, rephrasing that famous line, "We knew John F. Kennedy, and Barack Obama is no JFK." Quite frankly, there are more JFK parallels in my life. So now you're thinking to yourselves about me. We knew Jack Kennedy, and you, sir, are no Jack Kennedy. Well, I've got news for you. Jack Kennedy was no Jack Kennedy. In fact, he's a little more of a Bill Clinton, if you ask me. I mean, if you think messing around with 21-year-old Monica was bad, how about 19-year-old Mimi? You might have heard about that from Robert Dallek's 2003 JFK biography, An Unfinished Life, which also revealed that, much like yours truly, JFK liked it a little rough, especially in the pool, where he had a habit of nearly drowning a girl at the height of the excitement. I guess it runs in the family, huh? Don't think the Clinton-Kennedy parallels end there either, okay? The Kennedy White House was known as Camelot. Similarly, the Little Rock Hotel where Juanita Broderick forced me to give her a swollen lip was called Camelot. Now, the only Camelot parallel in Obama's life is that Camelot is also a fairy tale. I, on the other hand, tried to style my presidency after JFK's. I tried to have sex with as many women as he did, so I'm not really sure what went wrong and left him with the more idyllic legacy. Well, we know what went wrong. The media went wrong, as always. Despite my being the more multicultural, I was much more multicultural with my fornication than JFK, yet I don't get any credit for that either. Just remember what civil rights leader Andrew Young said about me recently. He said, I probably slept with more black women than Obama has, which is why you should vote for my wife. I also call your attention to the fact that the New York chapter of the National Organization for Women has called Ted Kennedy's endorsement of Obama over Hillary the ultimate betrayal against women, issuing a statement that said Senator Kennedy's endorsement of Hillary Clinton's opponent in the Democratic presidential primary campaign has really hit women hard. Think about what that means. It means that forsaking the first potential female president hits harder than Kennedy's car hit the water in Chappaquiddick, drowning the female in his vehicle. Herewith, another Kennedy-Clinton parallel, okay? These same savvy ladies understood that my philandering, whether consensual or not, paled in comparison to the support I gave women politically. Many people are under the misconception that they have to choose between electing the first female president and the first black president. But I am here to tell you that in Hillary, you've got a 2-for-1 deal. Throw me in and you got a 3-for. Regardless, let me point out the fact that the family of Bobby Kennedy, in fact, endorsed me, Hillary. They appreciate that when I was president in the 1990s, I addressed the priorities of the 1960s, for which we all have a deep nostalgia. Just look at what Kathleen, Robert Jr., and Carrie Kennedy wrote in the Los Angeles Times just last week. The piece was chock full of Kennedy-Clinton parallels. And as their priorities make clear, they in fact believe we are still in the 1960s, and therefore recognize that Hillary is the best choice for president. They recall that she holds the Senate seat once held by their father. And like their father, Hillary's, and I quote, Hillary's political career has been centered in comforting the afflicted and afflicting the comfortable. There you have it. Not a mention of security, terrorism, foreign policy, or any of that garbage Republicans are obsessed with. Notice how these perfect children of the 1960s are able to imagine a world in which their father was not assassinated by a Palestinian nationalist. And that is what it means to be a Democrat, to be an American. You forgive, you forget, and most importantly, you hope. You hope that if you ignore your enemies, they'll go away. If we were able to recreate the semblance of the 1960s in the 1990s, we can do it again in the 2000s. And that means we still have a long way to go before we see our first black-looking president in the Oval Office. Or 8 years anyway. And when that time does come, whoever the candidate may be, he can count on me and Hillary to be in his corner. Unless, of course, Chelsea is 35 by then. Thank you very much.